Hey everybody, John the Other here. I'm going to begin by reading you something. It goes like this. No free man shall be taken, or imprisoned, or disseized, which means dispossessed, or exiled, or in any way destroyed, nor will we go upon him except by the lawful judgment of his peers, and by the law of the land. For those of you who are wondering, that is Article 39 of the Magna Carta. Now, Magna Carta doesn't have the force of law in any country that I know of. Not in Canada, the US, I don't even think in the United Kingdom. But the Magna Carta does underlie, philosophically, all Western laws, the Western legal criminal systems. And I would argue that it also underlies the foundation of Western civilization. That in particular, this idea, articulated in Article 39, which I'll read again, no free man shall be taken or imprisoned, or disseized, which means dispossessed, or exiled, or in any way destroyed, nor will we go upon him except by the lawful judgment of his peers and by the law of the land. Now, encompassed in all of that is due process. Encompassed in that statement is the presumption of innocence until proof beyond a reasonable doubt in a court. That's a more modern way of saying it. Encompassed in there is that you cannot be simply clapped in irons and thrown in a dungeon by somebody's fiat, but it must be by the rule of law, not the rule of a person's whim. And we have departed from all of that. We've got rid of that. We don't think that's fashionable anymore. We talk about the Me2 movement as something that was, quote, long overdue. You can read Me Too long overdue, you'll find dozens of headlines. That seems to be a talking point. And in fact, even when people talking about Me Too having gone, quote, too far, if you suggest that the Me Too movement has gone too far, you are suggesting that it was in some way a legitimate and good movement to begin with, when in fact it is nothing except a departure, a migration away from due process and the courts as a place to resolve criminal grievances, and a positive, joyful embracing of vigilante mob justice articulated through media and social media. That's what the Me Too movement is. Now, that's what I really wanted to talk about, but I realized quite quickly after kind of thinking about it that nobody is actually going to care about that. And one of the reasons I know that nobody's going to care, one, it's abstract, philosophical, high-flying sounding theoretical stuff. And the other reason is that every single person who has come through Lighthouse, the Canadian nonprofit organization that I'm a part of, which helps people navigate the savaging and destruction of their lives through false accusations, every person who's come to us, come to Lighthouse to get our help, has been absolutely shocked and bewildered that this could ever happen to them, despite the fact that all of us have seen in the media dozens and dozens and dozens of cases over the years of lives destroyed through very obvious false accusations. Everybody seems to think that, well, even though that guy didn't do that, he must have done something, and where there's smoke, there's fire. Oh, yeah. Nope. You could be next, and it could be tomorrow. But nobody's going to care about that. So instead, I'm going to talk about this. Why you cannot buy a house in Vancouver or Toronto, or probably most major cities in Canada. Even with a good job, even with a solid career, good education behind you, and a good income, you can't afford to buy real estate in Vancouver or Toronto. Why not? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One is that Canada, BC, Ontario, the other provinces, is a gangster's paradise. And what I mean by that is that the regulatory agencies, the financial transaction watchdogs, the people watching the political operatives to make sure that they don't do illegal favor trading and illegal backroom dealing, are either, take your pick between these two now, so unbelievably, naively, incompetently, stupidly, pathetically, gutless, and stupid and naive as it defies human imagination and intellect, or the other alternative is so unbelievably, bottomlessly corrupt that it defies human imagination and intellect to even encompass. So corrupt that it would make the imaginary gangsters of a Martin Scorsese movie look like the Rugrats. It's one of those two, and maybe a little bit from column A and a little bit from column B. Because real estate in Vancouver and real estate in Toronto are where international gangsters and criminal organizations and drug cartels launder their money. They take millions and millions of dollars and they buy houses at a hopelessly inflated price, and then they flip those houses, and the next criminal comes in, the next criminal organization buys it and flips it, and the next drug dealing criminal organization comes and buys a house and flips it. They're also laundering money through Canadian casinos. Great Canadian Casino Corporation, which runs River Rock Casino, and now, thanks to cooperation from the Kathleen Wynne government and the existing operatives within the Ontario PC Party, now operating in Ontario as well, you bring a whole bunch of cash in duffel bags into a casino, and then you gamble it for a couple of hours, and you lose some of it. That's how the casino skims their bit. And then what you take out, what you cash out, is cleaned money. So money is being laundered because we don't have the rule of law. We have a gangster's paradise here. And the fact that we had one politician who seemed to be probably one of the cleaner of the bunch, a guy named Patrick Brown, wanted to stop Great Canadian Casino from setting up their casino money laundering operation in Ontario, and that was such a threat to the money train for all the crooked criminal politicians, or maybe the hopelessly naive politicians, take your pick, that they had to and very efficiently dispose of him through an elaborate and highly cooperative, coordinated false accusation of sexual misconduct against some young interns in one of his campaigns. Now, that's been fairly roundly disproved. I mean, CTV News, a lot of people should be going to jail by now. A lot of people in the PC party should be going to jail. A lot of people in the Wynne government should also be going to jail. But we don't have the rule of law anymore. What we have is a public, joyful embrace of vigilante mob justice. And that's why, although nobody actually cares about that, you can't buy a house in Vancouver or Toronto or probably most other major cities in Canada, because it's a gangster's paradise without the rule of law. I hope you enjoy it, and you can thank the feminists for that one too. Thanks very much for watching, and as always, have a lovely, lovely day. One other thing. The British Columbia new NDP government just created a bunch of new taxes that they're going to slap on real estate deals, supposedly to chill out and cool down the market and drive the prices down. That's utter, total, 100% weapons grade nonsense. They're not going to cool anything off. They just see all the money being made and they want a slice of it. That's all that is.